Moving on. Leave will die. Has it truly come to this? Huh? Oh, pray attend to Alphino. He's engaged in some business or other that requires your assistance. Sorry, I skipped some text there. Pray go hang out with him. Oh, and tell him he shall have my answer in due time. It got weird. I thought she said the same thing twice, and I got confused. But the long and short of it was talk to Alphino. Confound it, she knows what must be done, and still she hesitates. All because of these fanciful rumors. I should explain. Minfilia's mother, well, adopted mother, was among the great many who perished during the calamity. Flamen was her name, and though you may know her better as the songstress of Ul'dah, she was a performer of singular talent, and much beloved by the people of Eorzea, not to mention a certain Charlian minstrel. As you may imagine, the news of her passing was greeted with shock and disbelief by her adoring followers, many of whom refused to acknowledge what had happened. That her body was never found only served to encourage speculation. Minfilia, too, struggled at first to accept the truth, but Flamen's absence stretched from months to years. She saw that there could be no other explanation. Until recently, at any rate, for whatever reason, rumors have once again begun to circulate that Flamen is alive and well. One of our informants, Father Eliud, has sent word that a woman matching the songstress description has been seen of late at the seaside resort of Costa del Sol. If we could succeed in tracking her down, I have no doubt that any worries that now plague Minfilia's heart might be assuaged. I mean, to set forth for La Nosca at once. Let's reconvene there and inquire with Master Gigaruju as to the veracity of these rumors. Borrow his thesaurus while we're at there. I don't think you know enough words. Whew. All right. Let's see. Let me remember how to go to places. Playing a game once a week is fun, but like, it's just enough time to forget how to play, you know? And so every time I'm like, okay, what do the buttons do again? Howdy, you've been here for 3 seconds and now you're absolutely in love with my voice already? Well, thank you. Boy, it's been absolutely flattering. People tell me I have a good voice. And honestly, that's never happened before in my life. It wasn't before I started recording videos. Oh, this is a VOD, Lamau. No, I'm actually here. Sorry. I named it VOD because it's going to be a VOD. I should stop doing that. I should name it live while it's live and rename it after I record it. This is probably on me. Boy, I hope you stick around long enough to hear that. For some reason, I think YouTube it may be a little behind. Oh, sweet siren of the sands, my Makode muse, why have you forsaken me? Titan's bane, I mean old. What brings you to my humble resort? Volamin? You mean to tell me the goddess made flesh who dwelt among us until so very recently was the songstress of Ul'dah? Egads, man, if I had known that, I would have chained her to my bedpost and never let her leave. Oh my god. Oh, for shame. To think that she now plies her trade for the riffraff off to the west, or wherever she said she was going. It's a tragedy, I say, a tragedy. West, is it? Thank you, Master Gegaruju. Your information will serve us well. There. That said, there are any number of places she could be. I shall begin my search by the docks to see if any witnesses might have some knowledge to spare. I would be most appreciative if you could travel on to Wineport and do the same. You're a little behind, but you're still here. Yay!
Thanks, Granddad.
Oh, thank you for following, Snugbug. And thank you for the heart. And a heart from Archie Vale, too. That's right, I can fly now. By the power of cake. Actually, apparently... Okay, the cake makes her go forward. The cabbage makes her go up. The scientific principle in which all helicopters work. But how are you two doing today? Snugbug and Art. I called you Archie. I'm sorry about that, Aki. If you had a gill for every time someone called you Archie, you could buy a mansion. Yeah. I'm sorry. My old man eyes aren't very good with the size of the text in my chat. Going to rain cut your golly, you coming along? Yeah. Got raided by a guy named Brockles the other day. And I thought it was an I, so I called him Brocchies. You know, put a little Italian spin on it. This is the wrong way. Oh, you don't mind it? You find it funny? Most people are pretty good sports about it. In fact, I don't think I've ever met a person who hasn't been a good sport of it. Honestly, the community we've managed to find is just super nice and polite and casual. Nobody angry for any silly reason like getting a name wrong. It's pretty rad here. I hope you enjoy your stay. No worries, you've only got one working eye yourself? Oh. I always wanted, like... It's been my secret dream to, like, sell designer eye patches. But everyone goes the glass eye route. Well, if it isn't Old, the savior of Wineport, to what do we owe the pleasure? Ah, yes. We did receive a customer matching that description. She was a delight to behold. To give the woman her due, but her perfume was ghastly. I had no choice but to eject her from the premises, interfering with the tastings, you understand? If she is your quarry, why not consult with your blind associate? His olfactory perception is without peer. Given that I could smell the woman from a mile away, I dare say he could smell her from 10. Alright. And yet, it's going to have me talk to somebody over here first. You want to know if I've seen a Makode lass by the name of Flamin? I wish. I haven't seen a lass of any description in far too bloody long. Weird that it made me talk to him before the blind man. Okay, but hear me out. Having a designer eye patch with a killer fantasy looking glass eye with an underneath for the double-edged style factor, that would be really cool. I mean, like, I feel like if you're going prosthetics, like, there should be, like, more designer prosthetics, right? Like, you get this glass eye whether you want it or not, but imagine, like, being able to, like, put some style on it. At least, like, have the option for purple, you know? Or maybe, like, a goat's eye, that would be pretty cool. Bonus points if you can make it bleed on command. I see you have many adventures since we last spoke, old. You must share them with me sometime. The girl from a little while ago. One does not forget perfume like that, so robust and intoxicating, yet simultaneously familiar. Reminiscent of a balloon native to these parts, in fact. I said as much when we spoke. She complimented my powers of observation, and she asked where she might find some of the flowers. I told her to follow the road south into Raincatcher Gully and then head east after crossing the second bridge. The flowers, which grow in the shade of the cliff, have the strongest scent, you see. You make haste. If you make haste, you may find her yet there. That's terrifying and hilarious, right? But, like, even, like, a simple, like, eye patch with, like, a rose on it would be so much more appealing to me than just, like, one that matches, a glass eye that matches my remaining eye, you know? What brought you to this game, if you can ask? I had a weird dream. It came to me in a vision. What? Let's see. How can I explain this? I'm a fan of, like, Yule log style videos. Like, things I can just put on the TV to, like, pretend I have a fireplace. And, like, I've kind of moved on to, like, things like watching trains move through, like, Oslo, Norway. Just, you know, to have something going on in the background. And I was like, you know, I bet I could do this with Final Fantasy XIV. And I could just make Final Fantasy XIV the movie. Like, play through the entire main story quest. And make the longest videos I possibly can and upload them to YouTube. So far, I've got three 12-hour videos of just me playing the main story quest. So, like, somebody can just put on my Final Fantasy XIV movie playlist and we'll have like 36 hours of content that they can just leave on in the background. And I thought that would be fun. And if I can just do that 10 more times, I will have beaten the entire game. Oh. We got Gabu stuff. Good morning, old man Sugarheart. How am I? I'm doing pretty good. Kicking Gabus. Hanging out with Flammins. Hanging out with my new YouTube audience, who's pretty cool. I say audience, it's one guy. Aki Vale, he's pretty rad. I'm in debt. I'm in your debt, stranger. I did not realize my activities had aroused the Gobu's ire until it was too late. Their oils can be used to make perfume, you see, and Flamin? I don't... Who are you? Whom do you serve? It appears you've already found our woman. Consider me impressed, my friend. The songstress of Ul'dah, I presume, Minfilia, or should I say Acilia, is looking for you. Acilia? You're the very picture of health, milady, yet the world thinks you're dead. I can only conclude this was by design. The question is, why? Well, if I ever need a healer, you'd love to join you? One day? Maybe. I'm doing kind of a social anxiety run, you see. Hang on. Not everyone who endeavors to find me does so with the best intentions, child. You'll be pleased to know that I fully intend to reveal myself to Minfilia when the time is right. Oh, well, that does please me, more than you know, but tell me, sojourns in the forest of Nazca aside, when exactly will be the time be right? When I deem it so. Do you imagine I traveled all this way on a whim? As I was telling your associate prior to your intrusion, I came here to harvest these flowers for use in perfume. Does that satisfy your curiosity, or would you interrogate me further? My apologies for the interruption. Anyway, now that we have all that we came for, might we continue this conversation in a safer locale? Wineport, say? Oh, that's what that means. No worries then. I mean, like, I'm not entirely opposed to it. The thing is, like, I've got kind of a unique opportunity to, like, really investigate, like, every dungeon and quest. And, like, I had this problem with Final Fantasy XIV before where, like, every time I would do a dungeon, I felt an intense need to study for, like, days at a time. Not days at a time, but, like, every time a dungeon came up, I wanted to make sure I knew how the mechanics worked before I even, like, queue up for it. Because I can't stand being the reason, like, somebody wasted 15 minutes. And so, in the past, like, I could never get very far in the game because, like, the quests would get a little more, or the dungeons would get a little more complicated. I needed to study a little more. And before you know it, it just felt like doing homework over and over again. But in a recent patch, they made it so, like, the entire main story quest can be done with NPCs. So now I can fail as much as I want and not be an inconvenience to anybody. Bam, on Twitch now. This has way less delay. Ah. I was explaining my social anxiety run. Would you like me to go over it again? The general idea is, like, I was always worried to be the reason why, like, a dungeon or raid failed. And so, like, I'd have to study the mechanics like it's my job. Like I had homework every time, so I never got very far in the game before. But in a recent patch, they made it so all the main story quests could be done with NPCs. And so now, I can play and fail as many times as I want without having to be a burden on anybody. And plus, it gives me an opportunity to really explore the dungeon, which, like, was another thing that you couldn't do without being, like, super rude before. Isn't that right, Alpha No? This is not at all how I envisioned it. I can scarce begin to imagine what emotions will go through Minfilia's heart when she reunites with her mother after all these years. Me neither. I go for healing. It's gonna be a while, but when we get to Heaven's Word, we're gonna switch to Astrologian.